Hi everyone, my name is Simon Misiewicz and this is a video about landlord tax and the UK government. Now, it's fair to say that this is not aimed at the Labour Party in isolation because it's also aimed at the Conservative Party as well. So, let's get into the details. The attack from the Labour Party. Let's think about forward looking as well as backward looking. First of all, this is an article that is produced. What are the Labour plans for the private rented sector? There is definitely going to be plans, isn't there? But it's all over the news in terms of the type of issues that we're going to be facing as landlords. It's war. Labour willing to have battle with landlords over EPC targets, which in some ways you can see that's a good thing. But again, it's just another aiming at landlords from the Labour Party. Angela Rayner to announce renters' protections at opening of Labour Party conference. And, well, just thought I'd leave you with this. This is a bit more controversial, isn't it? Reveal Labour slum landlord. Oh, well, we can't have that, can we? In terms of the Labour Party attacking landlords, and yet one of their own pays no tax on £150,000 nursery business that they run. Tut. Corrupt government, anyone? Let's wait and see, shall we? I have produced an ongoing article which is going to be regularly updated about the Labour changes. There's a QR code there, so feel free to go onto that. But if you type in UK Labour Party landlord tax changes, this article will probably be in the top 3 anyway. And it will give you the historic context, and it will also give you the future plans as the Labour Party release it. So, tax attack on landlords. Are they a good investment going forwards? Well, I think yes. And I think still the investment concept of making money from property is still there. But we have to be aware that there's more tax legislation pushing out amateur renters, landlords I should say, that have got rental properties. That will leave a huge gap in the market for professionals to come into it. And maybe that's what they're looking to do, is institutionalize the whole PRS, and we'll wait and see if that happens. So let's get into kind of the issues what we've found. 2011, and again, this is not aimed at the Labour Party, so I'm not here to say I vote Labour or vote Conservatives. To be honest, I don't vote any of them. They're all useless, and therefore you can stop saying I'm one or the other. I'm neither. So 2011, CGT rate increases to 18% for basic rate taxpayers from 10% to 28% for high rate taxpayers when you're selling properties. 2013, we saw the introduction of Section 24 mortgage interest relief cap, which means that you could no longer offset mortgage interest costs against your rental income. 2015, we saw the introduction of the 3% SDLT high rate. So if you're buying a second property in your name or buying a property in a limited company, you pay the 3% SDLT higher rate. In 2017, we saw the removal of the 10% wear and tear allowance. 2018, we saw the introduction of the 2% SDLT for foreign investors. 2023, we saw the introduction of the 60-day reporting for CGT purposes if you're selling residential property. And 2025 will already been announced that the FHL tax benefits have been removed, or will be removed, I should say. And so it says that Section 24 will apply to FHL properties. I've done a video on that already. 2025 will also see the introduction of the 3% SDLT rate for foreigners. Some of you might say that's a good thing. And so it will stave off the foreign investors and leaving the UK housing for UK people. I don't see that's a bad thing personally. So wait to see if that comes in for sure. There is a 2025 stamp duty reform that is coming in to say how it will be used going forwards. And could it get any worse? Well, I'm sorry to say, yes, it could easily get worse. And let's have a look at this. The removal of the 20% mortgage interest allowance of Section 24. Right now, you can get 20% tax relief on the mortgage interest cost. It is entirely possible that the Labour Party will just say, scrap that. You can't have any tax relief on any mortgage interest at all. That is not out of the question of it coming in at all. CGT becomes income tax on property. We saw a lot of the capital gains tax question being, well, should it be income tax? Should the rates be higher? A, it could be income tax, and B, it could be just on property. Just one more attack on landlords. And CGT in advance. Are you thinking, well, what do you mean CGT in advance? We follow the Americans, okay? So whatever they do, we kind of always think, hey, it's a good idea, let's go ahead and do that. There is lots of tax policies that we have followed from America in the UK. And I'm going to give you some snippets of what issues we might face. This is from Tax Notes, and it says, details sought on Harris plans to tax unrealized capital gains. Basically, it means that the lift in value on certain assets, shares, property, could be taxed, and you'd have to pay that tax even though the property is not being sold. So that's unrealized gains. And it's really gone across the United States as, wow, this could be a real issue. Analysis of Harris's billionaire minimum tax on unrealized gains. Again, just saying, well, this is entirely possible. This is all recent news. Here's what Harris plans to tax unrealized investment gains. And again, not just property. It could be cryptocurrency. It could be shares, stocks, all of those kind of things. And in this, she's talking about having unrealized gains. But if you make losses, she's not going to give you the tax relief. What? That is crazy. And if that happens, and then the Labour Party go, ooh, that's a good idea, then we are headed for trouble into the UK, and especially investments. I think what will happen in the United States, there'll be a crashing of investments in the US, and people will just go somewhere else. If the UK, the tiny country that the UK is, try to introduce something like this, it would cripple the UK economy. People would just go, I've had enough. Not even millionaires leaving the UK. I'm talking about foreigners investing anything in the UK whatsoever. So let me know in the comments box below. Tell me what you think. Could it get worse for landlords? Well, let me know what you think.